everyone, hi! I am doing the last haul of the year. Yes, you heard me right. I have decided that I'm gonna do a complete redo of the philosophy of the practices, ceremonies, rituals of how I interact with scents. It doesn't mean that I'll never ever buy a new bottle of fragrance, no, but I will save all of that big philosophy project for another video, which I hope you're excited to see very soon. But in terms of the classical fragrance YouTube, you know, the things that kind of tried and true, this lavish, unlimited hauling of fresh juice, bottles of gorgeous, amazing scents. Some of them are long awaited wish list items that I really wanted to bring back into my collection. Some of them are surprises and blind buys. So all of that, enjoy. This is the video for that. It means that the next series of videos are going to be even more exciting and new. But if you really love the old true YouTube, this is it. Enjoy. I'm gonna start with a decant swap with my subscriber. What did I swap? I think it was Buveur de Vin. Am I right? Am I right? Did we swap that one? For me, it's French kissing a demon. Long story short. And I got in return Mancera Jasmine exclusive. Mancera has been intriguing within the last year, let me tell you. Also, it's a daughter brand to Montal, literally and figuratively. And in the last couple of years, they've been kind of reinventing themselves. I'm very intrigued to try more from them. I'm already interested in Tonka Cola. I think that's the name. There are like a few of them that I'm actually really curious about. So, Jasmine Exclusive is a newer fragrance, and this is a delightful balancing and slightly animalic, slightly gourmand jasmine with leather. I do have a few deeply animalic jasmine scents, and not gonna lie, it's a bit hard to wear for me. Jasmine in general is not an easy floral accord for me to wear myself as a personal fragrance. It's easily recognizable, it's cult, it's beautiful, but for me, certain metallic notes about jasmine make it truly hard to wear. I do tend to skew toward lighter ethereal forms of jasmine rather than something heavy and substantial. I love it in theory more than I actually do wear it. So I'm so grateful to get my hands on. I think this is fair 10 mil actually. I've been wearing it non-stop ever since I got it. This is such a tasteful, wearable. It's like a new Taylor Swift album. Pardon the comparison. I know not all of you are big fans. I actually don't really listen to Taylor Swift. But when you really look through the pop culture of music, there are a few divas that just consistently rip, the top charts. And Taylor Swift is one of them. So I feel like this is what Mancera has been doing this past year or two. It's almost like a huge comeback of a diva, of mainstream but catchy, well-made, easy to wear, attention-grabbing fragrances. Jasmine Exclusive is not an exception to that. It's definitely a hit, for sure. However, one of my practices was before and is going to remain in the future. I don't buy a bottle until I finish a decant, so we'll talk in the last drops sometime in the future, and I'll let you know if I ended up actually honoring Jasmine Exclusive with a very precious, very sought after place on my shelf. Next is a blind buy that collected a lot of Fragrantica editors' kind of likes in the last Encens in Italy in 2023. And this is a new release by Francesca Bianchi, Byzantine Amber. So the reviews were saying that this is the epitome of everything that Francesca Bianchi is about. And that by this fragrance alone, you can kind of judge the whole brand and make your opinion on whether it's worth engaging and indulging in more scents from them. So this is my first by Francesca Bianchi. It's new. It's highly praised by connoisseurs in the world of fragrance, people who've seen it all. And what can I say? Not my kind of amber, to be honest. I do love a resinous, heavy amber. And one example of something that I adore is Amber 114 by Histoires de Parfums, or d'Ambre Extreme, mind you, extreme version by L'Artisan Parfumeur. But here, I feel too much smokiness, this kind of burnt bones almost. This burnt bones sweet effect that I remember from Serge Lutens' Jour de Peau, kind of here is even more intense, minus the caramel. It's way more kind of high brow on the paper than it is on my skin. That's another complication. Again, it was a blind buy. I will be looking for a second home for it, unless a magic happens and I'll just fall in love with it by wearing it a couple of times, which I do intend to do. But so far it's not a kid. It's too smoky, almost bitter to my nose, and there's something about this that is just too much. So maybe like Naomi Goodsir, this is just not a brand for me. We'll see. And the reason I mention Naomi Goodsir is because it's also like a powerhouse when it comes to every fragrance. Is just, it's just like all the projectors, all the lights on. You're on stage when you apply Naomi Goodsir. It can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, just not my thing. Another blind buy is Lilikide Imaginaires Bello Rabelo. And I have collected at this point all three from their line dedicated to wine-related drinks. Doma Rosa, which is rosé champagne. I actually sold it to one of my subscribers. It's a really beautiful, believable champagne with a rose. It's just not for me. Like when it comes to fresh roses, I have my army, my little army of fresh roses. If you're curious, check out Malle Parfums. I do have like a whole set that you can sample for yourself if you want to. At least you can see my favorites. But long story short, no, that was not for me. Then I still do have, and I'm pointing where it's standing, Bloody Wood, which is essentially like a rich, intense Cabernet. So it's like a very red wine type of fragrance. It's interesting. I wear it from time to time, but still not a hit. It's a bit too sour for me. It's very tannin like. And the third one that I finally got is Bello Rabelo, which is port. It's like dense dessert, almost the dessert wine made of berries. In certain countries in Europe, it's very popular to make wine based on berries, like blackberries, all kinds of mixture of berries. And that's what it reminds me of. It's a great tawny port. It's amazing. I love it. Unfortunately, I don't feel it on me for a long time. I don't know if you ever try, please let me know. Any of the Lilikide Imaginaires, or maybe it's this one. It just doesn't last. And I find that this one has this amazing head notes. The opening is gorgeous, kind of like dried fruits, you know, sweet dessert wine, port. I think it's the best comparison I can come up with. And yet, I wait for some development going forward. For example, I would say La Couche Diable by Serge Lutens, which is kind of like dried fruits, this also kind of port, sweet wine, plus incense, plus other things. That one has a lot of longevity. That one has a lot of opening, a lot of movement, a lot of life after you spray it. This one to me is almost like head notes and then nothing else. It's possible that I just get used to it and I don't feel what comes after. But so far, I'm a little underwhelmed, but the head notes are good enough that I'll keep it. I'll keep it and I'll wear it. I just wish I had that effect either evolve into something or last longer. A few shower gels from perfume houses, because some of you probably do know, some of you are new and don't know. I am a big fan of doing this perfume sampling through the body products. They're cheaper, they actually last fairly long, and often I enjoy and I'm done with a given scent by the time I'm done with a shower gel or especially body creams. So I actually had delightful, vivid love stories with scents that started, developed, continued, and ended on a bath product, and that was enough for me and for my life story with perfumes. Also, some perfumes that are either too forceful or too bright, too vivid in some sense, that it just become annoying when you wear them in eau de parfum version, often work wonderfully in a hot shower or as a body cream. They become softer, somehow they work better. But it also depends on the brands. Some brands make better formulations outside of eau de parfum and kind of alcoholic substances. Some do not so good of a job. So if you're into that kind of stuff, stay tuned. I regularly review bath and body products by perfume houses because this is one of my major key ways to also interact with scents and to enjoy them. There's almost nothing that I can compare with getting into a hot, steamy shower and spreading a vibrant, complex scent in a lavish foam. So think about it. Just think about it. Anyway, the two that I got, one I got from France because I really wanted to get something from this French kind of budget brand, Rose and Gallet. And I'm not a big fan of their classic cologne. I know it's one of the staples that they sell and it's as good of a cologne as any. But it's just, I'm not a big fan of classic Italian cologne formulation. So I got myself Fleur dos Montes, which is supposed to be pretty much apricots, peaches. So that's just something sweet and nice and some memory of my travel to France. And Casamorati, Xejov, in a hyper luxury packaging, even the piece of paper that talks about their bath and body collection is made of pearlized. It's a pearl paper. Can you believe this? It's exquisite. Italian niche really knows how to bedazzle their packaging. Might be not everybody's cup of tea if you're into minimalism. I find that any style can allure me if it's done well, if it's done with a taste. Like even if it's lavish, over-the-top Barocco, that can be done well. And I find that this body and bath and body line is done beautifully well. The shower gel that I got was a perfume that I finished a decant off. This is Fiore dUlivo, green, zesty, kind of, yeah, I don't know if I feel olives in it. Sorry, I just got cat hair on my nose, it's so annoying. I don't know if I really smell olives in Fiore dUlivo. It's more that it's very zesty, fresh, green perfume, that's all. But I was kind of concerned that it was a bit crude and it's a bit too much when I wore the decant, and I kept being kind of on and off on my wish list whether I should buy it or not. So I decided that maybe, just maybe, I should get myself a shower gel, and then we'll see about the perfume bottle later when I'm done with this. And I made the right choice. It is softer, it is way more creamier. The texture of the product itself is luxurious. I do find that a lot of shower gels, Frederic Malle comes to mind, don't really invest in a good formulation of their bath and body products. Let's just say that. Like, it's just not looking forward to buying another shower gel by Frederic Malle. That was a waste of money. Yet others do a stellar job. Like, it almost becomes a fetish in itself. And I do highly recommend that if you find it in any kind of affordable pricing range, or if you're looking to try Italian niche but it's a bit much for you, and it does tend to be kind of over the top vibrant, I would argue, somewhat crude formulations and blends of notes together. The Bath and Body formulation of them, it's out of this world. Love it, love it, love it. I am tragically out of normal blotters, so I'm tearing apart this rather poorly written paper manuscript on machine learning. If you want, feel free to judge me, I don't care. So that you don't think that I actually hate Frederic Malle, I'm gonna prove you wrong and show you that I purchased myself another bottle, very carefully selected, of Frederic Malle. This is Dominique Rapillon, perfumer for Frederic Malle, and the fragrance is called Geranium pour Monsieur. I almost find that some of the Frederic Malle names are a lot like Le Labo. There is some kind of note in the title, yet the fragrance has nothing to do with it. It's not geranium. To me, this is fresh, watery anise and mint. I'll confess, I do not like anise note, but I am in love with the lemony mint in this. And usually mint is one of the fastest disappearing notes in any perfume. And as you know, even if you kind of squeeze the fresh mint, it really, that flavor doesn't stay long. It's very hard to get it to kind of adhere either in a drink or in a fragrance. But this one just lasts and lasts and lasts forever. I almost adhered to my rule. I have a little bit of left in the decant, but I left some before finishing and buying the bottle, specifically so I could compare what I have in the official decant that I got in the set of Frederic Malle perfumes with the bottle that I bought secondhand. I sold a few of my perfumes and I bought this like after selling a few. Some of you probably already know, those who've been around and are part of the Facebook groups and the Mercari world and the eBay and all that good stuff and the Reddit forums, that some perfume houses are way more likely to be faked than others. Amouage, Memo, Frederic Malle, there are like a few others, obviously Baccarat Rouge and a few of the Francis Crookjans, Chanel's, all the time. So it is kind of very iffy every time you're buying a bottle of either Memo Paris or Frederic Malle or Amouage, whether it's actually real. So I left a little bit left over in that decant, specifically that when I would buy a bottle, I would be able to verify the purchase. So relieved to say, either it's a fake that I cannot tell apart or it's true. So I'll leave it at that. To me, it's good. It's the same, it lasts as long, so I'm happy. I'm gonna call it a win. God knows, like I tried to compare the batch codes and this and that, but there's nothing easier to fake than a batch code. You just take an existing one and you slap it on a fake bottle. I just don't want to spend any more time oscillating about this question of authenticity. It looks real, it smells like the one that's real. I'm good with it. I'm gonna keep it. To me, that's one of the best fresh mint fragrances on the market, period. I keep having to show this bottle because I can't remember if I showed it to you or not. So I'm sorry if I've showed this before. I need just to put it, like show it once and put it away for good, so I'm not thinking that I need to haul it. This is Salvatore Ferragamo, their boutique collection, La Commedia. This is my second bottle because the first one, the spray broke and I had to pretty much rebottle it into like a spare screw bottle where it very happily evaporated over the course of a couple of years. Sad story. I love this fragrance because it's the most diffusive peppery peppers, all peppers you can imagine combined, fragrant aromatic molecules combined together. It is vibrant, diffusive, it enters the room before you do, and yet I love it because it's dry spices and that's my jam. Like tuberose, musks, I'm not really a big fan of, and those usually, the components that make the fragrance long-lasting and very screamish, kind of beast mode. And it's a very rare occasion that none of that is present to my nose. It's just a whole bunch of spices, and yet it's amazingly vivacious. Love it, love it. So I got myself a replacement. Just once again, this is Salvatore Ferragamo La Commedia, in case you wondered. And you can definitely get yourself a decant if you want to from my shelf. Attar collection, my first full-size bottle. I have finished a decant of Queen of Sheba, thanks to my blogger friend and a very prolific content creator, Karina, for that decant. And the decant was probably 5 years old by the time I got to it. Like, amazingly, it held on well. I don't know, like, do your decants stay put for that long, or do they just gone? Usually, that's the latter is the story for me, but some of the bottles are just amazing. They hold on to the perfume like nothing else. I still have decants that are that old, 5+ years old, and I still, you know, still trying to get to them so I can make my mind up. Anyway, finished up, I think it was 3 or 5 ml. It was like a decent size. I lived with this fragrance for a while, and I liked it more than Angel Share. I liked it more than by Kilian. I liked it more than all of those osmanthusy, musky, semi-sweet, peach apricot fragrances, because this, in my memory of that decant, it was almost like a souffle. I do prefer souffle-ish sweetness to, you know, jammy, kind of marmalade sweetness. Latter, it's very hard to satisfy my taste. The former, if it's a souffle, almost anything goes, to be honest. Like, I'm not that picky. So, in terms of an apricot smoothie, I thought this is it. Queen of Sheba. I found it on with a decent price. And actually, since the first years of Attar collection producing their perfumes, they have invested in the packaging significantly. I remember their early packaging. That was sad. There was some kind of like glued paper here. Blah, blah, blah. Now it's very high quality. I must say it looks and feels just as good as those boutique versions of Gucci. So very gift friendly, very much a fetish item if you like bottles on your shelves. The only thing that could be a little bit heavier, a little bit higher quality is the plastic lid, but it's good enough. It's good enough. I don't know, there is this whole like research studies about people preferring heavier lids. They associate that with luxury. So who am I to judge? I just said the same thing. Anyway, the tragedy that happened here is that there were probably a fair year between me finishing the decant and me finally purchasing Queen of Sheba by Attar collection. And I think since then they reformulated the fragrance. Now it doesn't smell like the best, the most creamiest apricot smoothie. It smells like apricots on top of cigarettes. It is literally Jasmine and cigarettes by Tat Libre d'Orange transferred to osmanthus, apricots, peaches with cigarettes. This kind of makes it more interesting and edgy in my book, but it's not what I remember. That's definitely, I distinctly remember it was a smoothie, no cigarettes whatsoever. Now Queen of Sheba is a Tat Libre d'Orange but with peaches. I don't know if I can recommend it or not. If you want, super happy to split a bottle, get your decant. I kind of love it for very perverse reasons, because I grew up around people smoking cigarettes, and in a very perverse and odd way, instead of inhaling cigarette smoke, if I can get it in a perfume, that kind of makes me feel more youthful. I don't know, it brings back this kind of bright, rebellious, dark energy of youth, of my teenage years. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna wear it. It's just not the same perfume. Isn't it just annoying that all these companies will swear on their grandmother's graves that we didn't change the formula, but they did! It happened before, it's happening now, and it will happen again. It's just so annoying. Why can't you just say it? Well, I guess they're afraid of hurting the sales. It's such a sore point for me. Just say it. Say it and do a marketing campaign that we made it more modern, that we made it better, whatever. Just don't lie like that. Anyway, the next one that Already got some going on this blotter. Machine learning community hates me right now. This is Chloe Rose Naturelle Intense. I am a big fan of Chloe roses. I had a bucket of their original years ago. It was a very expensive and luxurious gift that I was given for my birthday. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. And then after a year of bathing in it, and I think I got like one of those like massive, like I remember the bottle was more than 100 ml, at least in my memory. It was full size from Sephora. The good old days of not knowing where to buy perfumes for cheap. Anyway, I oversprayed it and I got sick of it, and I could not even attempt to try any of the Chloe roses for years. I'm gently, slowly coming back to this line because I do find the Chloe Rose line has a lot of wonderful, delightful, wearable, and easily accessible roses. I would highly recommend it if you have absolutely no access to niche decants. Though, I dare say you do. Anyway, the one that I liked the most was the Rose Naturelle Intense. I tried the Naturelle too, and somehow it was just meh to me. Maybe it was a very crowded place. I was already smelling my 15th perfume. God knows what happened there. But when I smelled Intense, I was thoroughly impressed. And I'm still impressed. So I got myself a decanter. Like it's a few of the designer scents now come in this packaging. So you can kind of sort of save on packaging and get yourself a favorite fragrance that I would heavily recommend that you decant and give it to friends, because 5 fluid ounces of anything, I feel, will just get anyone sick of the fragrance, or you will lose your nose buds. You'll lose your receptors. Our receptors need diversity to stay alive. So I'm a big proponent of having more than one signature scent, so you preserve your ability to smell, that you actually sharpen and develop your ability to smell, because our senses work in comparison, in contrast too. Anyway, my TED, thank you for coming for my TED Talk. We're done. What the scent is about, Maria, for goodness sake. It's this, I wouldn't call it powdery. It's more like flour. This is powdery that's more like baking flour. It has this like smooth flour baked fog to it. And to me, this is a berry rose. I don't know what's in it. It's a very fruity rose to me. I almost compare it with Penhaligon's Elizabethan rose, but that one is way brighter, way sharper, and way muskier. And the most surprising thing to me in this was that it lasts forever. For something that's demure, fruity, rosy, powdery, you don't expect it to last forever, but this until you wash your clothes, and maybe even after. So you gotta love this a lot in order to wear it. I put it on in the morning and it was still there 2 days after on the clothing. Luckily, I like the fragrance, but I do prefer fragrances to eventually dissipate, because again, as I said, it's not good for your receptors to be bombarded with the same smell all the time. But definitely 10 out of 10 for longevity. And I like the scent. Out of all of the Chloe roses, this is my pick. And since we're at it, why don't I share this one? 5 decants free. You just have to leave a comment. Wait, no, I'll need your address. How will I send it to you? Okay. I'll make a post, a little listing, and I'll give you a code in the description to this video. You just click on the listing, add it to the cart, put in the code, and then the listing will become free. You just pay, what is it, $4 or $5 for shipping. If you want Chloe Rose Naturelle Intense, 5 people will get this. First come, first serve. I think this is a good one. I am slowly recovering my faith in designer fragrances, and this is a good start. If you watch any of my videos where I talked about roses or finished decants, you probably know that Hollyrose is on my wish list by room 1015. I talked myself out of buying it initially because I have plenty of beautiful heavy and patchouli roses, but I still love it so much. And I'm nearly done with my second decant, so at this point I used up 15 ml of it on myself. But I started kind of gently decluttering my perfume collection, and I sold a few, and I saw it. Anyway, I got myself a bottle. Hollyrose by Room 1015. Room 1015, yet another niche brand that I wish spent a little bit more time carving their story and collaborating with perfume reviewers, because they have a lot of good stuff to show, and I want them to survive in this bloody battle of explosive niche brands in perfumery. I do have their Cherry Punk. I think most people know Cherry Punk. I have their Purple Mantra. I love their Sweet Leaf. Room 1015, please, please. A donation to my channel, maybe a bottle. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Their address is down below. Anyway, if you want me to save up for a Sweet Leaf, there's also a donation button down below. But I gotta curb this activity a little bit, and I'm stopping with the Hollyrose in terms of you know, emptying my bank account. So I got the biggest size. This is, how much do you get with them? You get 100 ml. Gosh, it looks bigger than it is. It is pretty much a rose that got high and decided to stare into the space in a small, warm, slightly cluttered bedroom or like living room. There is something, it doesn't say marijuana, but it does have this aromatic kind of pod presence. And then there is this patchouli that is not sour, not bitter. It's just kind of overall green fog. And the rose is delicious here. It's very bohemian. It's very St. Pete. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it's almost this like friendly rivalry between St. Petersburg and Tampa. And St. Pete is all like crystals, energy clearing, beach, you know, yoga, drum circles, fire and cacao ceremonies. That is St. Pete in its essence. If you know of a place like that where you live, please share below which town where you live would probably be a good candidate for Hollyrose and this kind of spiritual, vivacious communities. So Hollyrose is like that. She's bohemian, she's a free spirit, she has all these ornamental tattoos on her. Love it, love it, love it. Dreams come true. It's only sad I had to empty my bank account to do so. And the last was a blind purchase based on my undying love for this brand. And I'm not ready to talk about the scent because I'm still trying to make sense of it. I'll just tell you what I got. This is Histoires de Parfums. This is their new release. I haven't seen them releasing very aggressively, which I really appreciate, which kind of creates value to their perfumes, right? Like if the brand is not releasing 10 things every year, then every single item from them has value. So they're very judicious about their releases, and this is why when they release their Encens, their conceptual take on incense, I knew I was hooked. If you watched my prophecies of what's the future of fragrance industry, if you haven't, you can watch it afterwards. I said that one of the notes that I think quintessential for the next couple of years, in my view, is incense. And they released their take on it. I love their packaging. It's contemporary, it's eco-friendly, it's all paper, no plastic, so you can recycle it fairly easily. And it's just everything is thought about, everything is simple, light, but it's just so well designed. And the book, you know, I got myself 60 ml. This is half book. This is what they look like. I love them. Did you see their travels? Oh, out of this world. They're so stylish. Anyway, this is the incense. Oh my god. I did not anticipate for this to be that powerful. For some reason, I always associated Histoires de Parfums with bright but very refined blending of their fragrances. This is definitely refined and thought through. It's almost a PhD about a PhD dissertation about incense. It's so complex. It's so has so many facets that I'm flabbergasted. I'm neither in love nor it's not a pouring, it's not bad. It's definitely deep, thoughtful work. However, I can't say if I'll wear it outside. I don't even know if I can wear it myself at all. This is just one of those things, just is so, there's so much going on, and it's such a, it's like a power function based on incense. It's like exponential growth of incense on you. As time goes on, it becomes both, it's both piercing, fresh and light, and it's heavy and dark at the same time. This is a very rich, complex scent. That's all I can say right now. We gotta wait for a proper review. If you are interested, please leave a comment below. I'll prioritize that then. Otherwise, I'll take my sweet time with this. This is as a new release by a brand in 2023? Wow. Unexpected. Definitely unexpected. And with this movie, this last lavish, unconstricted haul, perfume haul of the year is done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely did. I am proud and in love with every purchase. As I said, some of them might not stay on my shelf, but some of them were, for me, a valuable addition to my olfactory memory and to my research, such as Francesca, Bianchi, and Histoires de Parfums. I'm curious, what do you guys have to say about these? Are you, like, what is your purchasing policy right now? Are you trying a low buy, no buy? Are you just also kind of spending all your money on the new releases, or you're trying to fulfill wish lists for something that you kind of been eyeing on for a while? Tell me everything. I can't wait to hear your feedback, and I'll see you in the next video.